Picture this, cameras on you, bright lights, script set, well-dressed, you start to speak, and someone hurls a slur at you. You pause. Is this real love? Cut. Clearly, this moment still remains rent-free on my mind. By now, you've probably heard about the blunder with the BBC and the BAFTAs, and we're gonna get into it. But before we do, this is the Authentic with Alisha pod, where we keep it real and rooted in purpose. This continues this month's theme of courage, and this episode is the courage to have grace. I thought no better way than illustrating this with the moment as well as the movie that inspired this, Sinners, since there's so many themes and that movie symbolizes so much. So let's get into it. At the 79th BAFTAs Awards, Davis screamed slurs mid-speech at Lyndon and Jordan.
Good evening. Deborah and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
You could see the visible discomfort on their faces. They paused. And with the level of professionalism that can only come from above, they proceeded. Now I know a lot of people are gonna say, if it were me, or I woulda, coulda, dulda, you weren't there, and you're not them. And this is the scenario that we're dealing with. Had it been you and it been different, then we wouldn't be talking about it. BBC, come to the front, because I know you had the concern enough to cut out other things from the show. So the disregard and that first initial, if you were offended apology, miss me.
Of language tonight, Tourette's syndrome is a disability and the tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means the person who has Tourette's syndrome has no control over their language. We apologise if you were offended.
We'll get into that in a second, but let's talk about that moment specifically. When those two men paused, they exercised what grace is. To me, grace is operating in the highest version of yourself despite the situation, despite what's happening to you, around you. You can let me know what you would add or change to your definition of grace. I have the utmost respect for these two men, not just because the moment went down the way it did and it was televised. This exemplifies the life that so many of us live. These are men who, in every right, are leaders in their industry, and in a moment where they should be revered and respected. Instead of this big corporation trying to rectify it the best they could, they let it slip, and I think that was by design. But the courage to have grace is to operate in the world knowing that sometimes it works against you. As someone who is Black, blind, and a lady, I know what it means to live in the intersectionalities of 3 different minorities. I come to this with a different type of nuance, which is probably why it's remained on my mind rent-free. I really had to sit with this. There's a woman, and I don't know her name, apologies, who was also sworn at. She said something that really stood out to me. She said that you have to exist above it.
Hannah Beachler, here we go. The set designer for Sinners is speaking out. I keep trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs, and I can't find the words. The situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night. And one of the 3 times was directed at myself on the way to dinner after the show. And the 3rd time at a Black woman. I understand and deeply know why this is an impossible situation. I know we must handle this with grace and continue to push through. But what made the situation worse was the throwaway apology of, if you were offended. Of course we were offended, but our frequency, our spiritual vibration is turned to a higher level than what happened. I am not steel. This did not bounce off of me, but I exist above it.
I think that is the epitome of grace. Have things happening to you or around you and not let the circumstances craft your character. When I think of the courage to have grace, it's exactly that. Courage is not the absence of what you're afraid of or what scares you. It's operating fearlessly in the presence of it to overcome it. Courage is something that some of us might exercise, once in a while, maybe once a year, every few years when we do something outside of our comfort zone. Or for some people, it's a daily struggle. I think of introverts and extroverts. The way an introvert practices courage, say in a setting that is overstimulating, is similar but different from the way an extrovert does when they're maybe one-on-one or solo. Although it appears that the outcome is different, the grace is the same. You can apply this to any moment in life, and one thing it had me thinking about is grace is not just the moments where you have to rise above. It's also allowing yourself to shine when the light is already shining on you. Lyndon Kugler and Jordan did an incredible job of not only paying homage, but paying it forward. their speeches serve as a textbook definition of grace. Whether it's what Kugler said at the end, AACP.
Since our people have been here over 4 centuries, there's always been a lot of lies told about us. No matter how little power the person has that's saying the truth, it's still the truth. And the truth is y'all are loved, y'all are beautiful, and y'all are powerful and mighty.
Or Michael B. Jordan's acceptance speech at the Oscars, where he spoke to all the actors that preceded him.
Because of the people that came before me, Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx, Forrest Whitaker, Will Smith, and to be amongst those giants, amongst those greats, amongst my ancestors, amongst my guys. Thank you, everybody in this room.
That level of gratitude and humility ties into grace. It's understanding that you exist in this moment, not by your own means, but by those who've come before you.
Hey, This is nerve-wracking.
When I think about what it means to be Black in America or where I live in Canada, it's our ancestors that have paved the way for us to live the lives that we've lived today. It is the grace that they had to exercise back in the Jim Crow era where this movie Sinners is set. 1932. I can't even fathom all that they had to endure. I always say I'm so happy that I'm an 80s baby. I could not have gone through what they did. The level of grace to face discrimination day in, day out, and still show up as the highest version of yourself, knowing that what you do today does not only play a role in your day-to-day, but the people that come after you.
The horror of this movie is actually the lives that they're living and the economic status, the racism that they face, the oppression.
This begs the question, is grace chosen or demanded? When I think of my life, for example, most of the times I operate in grace when I have to be, when someone is testing me, or admittedly, grace that I give to myself amid adversity. You can click on any video here about Life Legally Blind, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but we're not gonna get into that in this video today. Grace can also operate on a high level when things are going well, when you are exemplifying excellence and intentionality. Sinners as a movie, but also as a movement, symbolizes so much. It's not just about blues and what that meant back in the 1930s for people to express themselves in that beautiful montage of music and movement as it transitions and transcends time. It's also blues itself, born out of pain and suffering, something beautiful, but also is rooted in something meaningful.
Legends of people born with the gift of making music.
We all know the analogy with the vampires, colonizers gonna colonize, and I like the little twist where the colonized become colonizers. I see you, Googler.
Fellowship and love. We're gonna start ourselves a new clan based on love.
Listen, I don't do horror movies, so I was hiding behind my boyfriend watching this.
Let it go, Sammy. Put it down.
That feeling of being afraid, but still going for it anyway. And Sammy's character and his story arc is a perfect encapsulation of that.
Sammy parks the car and exits, still in a daze. He walks to the church door and opens it, and
My son has felt the call of sin.
a shot of Sammy refusing to drop his guitar. Sammy, 19, Black. A sharecropper works barefoot in a cotton field.
You gotta keep in mind, man, these people were sharecroppers, which was just a evolution of enslavement.
Whether we use the movie or the moments as a metaphor for how to move with grace, one thing is clear. Grace is who we are when we decide how we're gonna show up. It's a very active choice that we make, whether we make it in a split second, as we do day to day, sometimes when we're being tried, or in the big moments that define our lives. I just had a thought. Grace, much like being meek, is often mistaken for being weak. I think the softening that might come with grace is actually a strength. Understand the circumstance is bigger than the situation, and to act accordingly requires a certain level of intellect. Sometimes I feel like grace is a lost art, especially when I scroll and swipe on social media. Like, please, can we bring shame back? Our ancestors have to be rolling in their graves. Tying it all in, when we look at what's going on around the globe these days, we could all use a little more grace. So I would love to know, when's the last time you showed grace or needed the courage to have grace? If you enjoyed this video, you can get more over on Patreon. Subscribe below and also let the algorithm know you want videos like this to go out to more people by hitting the like. And until next time, stay blessed, stay authentic.